Prep Baseball Report is taking over American Family Field, home of the Brewers, for PBR's first ever All-American game on September 23rd, with the class of 2024 taking on the 2025s. Here to break down that 2025 roster, I'm Cory McCartney, along with PBR Vice President of Scouting, Shooter Hunt. Shooter, the excitement is certainly building as we get that much closer to an event that's been long in the making.
Yeah, it has been long in the making. I think our whole organization is excited about it. What the production level of Mizuno putting tons behind this, going to Milwaukee, being in the big league stadium, but especially what you're talking about here, having those 24s against the 25s, which really helps us show just how well we know all these classes. And we're constantly evolving with what we've seen and adding on. But I'm excited to see this group of 25s.
Well, we already broke down the 2024 roster, and if you haven't gone back and watched it yet, spoiler alert, this roster's loaded. The 2025s are not far behind. I'll be joined by outfielder Jacob Kendall, a Florida commit. But as we roll on first, Shooter, let's dive into those 2025s. And this group, equally insane, 15 of the top 25 players in the class will be in Milwaukee, including the top 4 players headlined by Oklahoma State commit Ethan Holliday. I mean, this roster, an absolute monster.
Yeah, when you're talking about a guy like Ethan Holliday, who now his dad, Matt Holliday, is a borderline Hall of Famer, I would put him in because of just how good he was. But then his brother's about to be the face of baseball. Jackson Holliday doing great things with the Orioles. And Ethan's got just as sweet a stroke. Coming from the left side, he's bigger than his brother Jackson, more closer 6'3", 6'4", has that middle of the order profile. But similar to Jackson, even his dad, the ability to slow the game down at the plate and really time up a pitcher, and that strike zone discipline is something that you just don't see at this young a level. Obviously, he's got the big power potential from the left side, can really hit, has done big things at Stillwater High School there in Oklahoma. But I just love the way he's able to slow the game down. Nothing speeds him up, especially when you have that bullseye on your back, being the number 1 player, having a famous dad, your brother's the number 1 pick. He has not allowed any of that to affect him, has instead allowed it to boost him even higher.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk with him this summer, and just such a composed kid in the way he just handles everything. He's followed in the class and these rankings by lefty Seth Hernandez, who also on this roster, Vanderbilt commit, uncommitted infielder Brady Ebel, and outfielder, middle infielder Cory James, who's an Ole Miss commit. What do you like about those guys in particular?
I think just the ones you just ripped off, the dynamic athleticism of each of them. You have Seth, who we'll talk about this with a lot of these guys in the 25 class, two-way potential. And I think we go back to the 24 class is going to really kick in the door with these Ohtani wannabes, the two-way potential guys who have a chance to get drafted in the first round as a real two-way guy. Seth Hernandez, big right-hander, can play some third base. It's a nice swing, but he is the elite arm in this class. You're talking a 93 to 96 fastball right now. Real feel for the changeup. It has a chance to be a plus pitch. And the breaking ball is a high spin, slurve, maybe more of a sweeper as it gets better. But it comes so easy. He's going to be tickling triple digits in the next 12 to 16 months. I would envision that, which is a big reason for why he's up so high, composed starter look. You talk about Brady Ebel, another Southern California kid who has some big league bloodlines. He was one of the best pitch trackers that I saw all summer. Any class, hops in the box. This kid's just a barrel maker. Everything's on the barrel. Does not swing out of the strike zone. You want him on the diamond, or as a pitcher, you want him to get ground balls. Everything that he gets hit to him gets eaten up and thrown across. He'll also hop on the mound and do his thing out there too. And then you talk about Cory James, who was one of the breakout stars of the summer. We've known about his athleticism coming out of North Carolina for a couple years now. And then he goes out and he shines with Team USA. He's not scared of the big moment. And when you're looking at the Carolinas and draft talent, he's going to be that guy who leads a 25 class that is absolutely loaded in the state of North Carolina.
Two more arms to key on here. Jack Bauer, lefty and Virginia commit, who comes in 12th in the class. UCLA bound. Angel Cervantes, a righty. I know you got to hand deliver, by the way, the invitation to the All-American game with him at Pro Case. What do you like about what they bring to the mound?
I mean, Jack Bauer, you're talking about some unteachableness. He's a UVA recruit, 6'4", stout frame, wide shoulders, and he's left-handed. He's up in the low 90s, 93, might touch a 94 there in Milwaukee, but it's a real high spin slider. What I love about what Jack did, the slider got so much better over just 12 months. And now you start envisioning, where is that in 24 months? Well, that could be really high. There's another first rounder out of Illinois recently, Noah Schultz. big lefty who had the big velocity, but also could really spin a breaking ball. They're very similar just in the way it's a methodical delivery. And then the ball it's almost a boring arm action, but the ball jumps on hitters and he lulls them to sleep with it. So huge upside. When you're left-handed, you can get a lot of looks. Then you talk about Angel there, who, I mean, if you walk in and you want a tough guy on the mound, you want a kid who's going out there to really embarrass you in counts and embarrass the other team, get those swings and misses, Cervantes is your guy. He hops out there, and we saw him again at USC at that pro case. He's a year younger, as nice as can be off the field. He got between those lines and he was in control. Everybody's here for me. I'm going to go at these hitters. And he's going up against a lot of big time draft guys in the 24 class. And he was getting tons of whiffs with the fastball, can throw 3 pitches for a strike. His last outing of the summer that I got to see, there are a couple of errors behind him, a hit by pitch. He don't let runs score. Bases loaded. That guy is not scoring on third base. And that's something I think the coach in me is like, I want that guy in my team, and I'm excited to have him in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it sounds like I can't wait to see him pitch against that 2024 class. And all right, go. I can't say enough of what's asked about a catcher in this kind of environment, because obviously guys are ratcheted up. They're trying to show out, and these catchers have to quickly learn these pitchers they're unfamiliar with. The 2025s have a good one shooter, an Oregon commit, Brayden Jaksa out of California.
Yeah, I think Jaksa really closed out the summer, and you can get that East Coast bias, right? You're there in Atlanta, and guys come through LakePoint. We're talking about these guys. We have some really good ones coming in Skylar Hegler and Dom Stevenson. Brayden Jaksa's there in NorCal, and I almost feel like didn't get the amount of respect that he needed prior to the end of the summer. And I got a chance to see him. I said, this guy might be that dude. And the amount of talent that's come out of the NorCal region, you're talking about draft wise, you got Daniel Susak coming out of there in NorCal. He has that similar profile where he can really defend. It's big arm talent behind the plate. He's going to shut down running games, but then he steps up from the right side and it's huge power. So it's a really good athlete. Even though he's 6'4", 6'5", with those long limbs, it's loose hips, soft hands, can really do it behind the dish. Oregon recruit, like you said. And right now, you're looking in NorCal, you're looking for first and second rounders because they're just churning them out. Jaksa's got a chance to do that going into next summer.
Finally, I know Georgia product Ty Peeples, who's committed to the Bulldogs, has been a steady riser in the 2025 class, now up to 23, the number 2 player in the Peach State. What can we expect to see from this outfielder?
I just talked about Jaksa kind of being less heralded. Ty Peeples is a guy that we've loved now for a couple years. And I think his name hasn't had the same buzz in the industry as it's going to. And I want to say Milwaukee may be his breaking out party in front of all these professional scouts who are getting to see these underclass guys, a lot of them for the first time. Left-handed hitter, the baseball IQ just stands out. And going back to LakePoint, I can remember seeing him at the PBR Cup last year, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. Just the things that he did that you notice, the nuanced situational things with the runner on first base, where he's handling the barrel. He can just move the ball around the park. It's big power. Another guy where you're looking at that decision-making ability from the left side. Doesn't matter who he's facing, he's matching plane and delivering a heavy barrel. And he's a really good athlete, 6'3". But I mean, Cory, you're down there. These Georgia guys, they're just different. You got to bet on those guys, and the amount of talent that comes out of there every year. Ty Peeples is that next dude.
No doubt. It's a talented group. And the good news is you can see them in action September 23rd from Milwaukee's American Family Field on the PBR YouTube channel. I'll be there. Shooter, you'll be there. You can tune in first pitch, 3:15 Central. Shooter, man, can't wait to see you. This is going to be exciting.
I'll see you in Milwaukee, Cory. Thanks.
All right. We are not done on this preview of the 2025s. And next up, I'll be joined by Florida commit Jacob Kendall. And part of that 2025 team that will take American Family Field in Milwaukee is Florida commit Jacob Kendall. And here is the outfielder out of Florida's A3 Academy. Jacob, man, good to have you in.
Hey, thanks for having me here. It's an honor.
You're welcome. Congratulations, first off, on making the inaugural PBR All-American game. How did you find out you've been selected to the 2025 team?
So my mom and dad told me. They were like, they came in my room and they were all hyped. And I was like, what are y'all so hyped about? And they told me I'm going to Milwaukee. And I was like real excited for that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great experience. So I'm ready.
Yeah, it's a unique setup because you got the 2025s going against some of the very best in the class of 2024. Tell me what in particular that you're excited about being a part of this.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see all the good competition, see where I'm still trying to build up to for next year, see like where I need to be by the time I get where we are next year. And just like see the good arms that we're gonna face and everything, and just the experience of Milwaukee, the stadium. So I'm looking forward to the whole experience.
Yeah, I know there's a number of guys in that 2025 class that maybe but haven't gotten to play with. Guys like Ethan Holliday, the number one player in the class. Who are you kind of excited to team up with as this thing gets going?
Shoot, man, I just honestly nobody in particular. I just want to bond with all the guys and really like talk to them a lot more, how they like train and everything. What they're doing on their off time, what they're eating, protein shakes, everything like that. So I just want to talk to them all more because we don't get to talk because we're all spread out everywhere. So yeah, it should be fun just to talk to them more and build a better relationship.
So with you, the scouts talk about fast hands, the bat speed, gap to bat, gap approach to the plate. Take me inside that approach for you. Are you going into an at bat with a game plan, or are you waiting to see what that pitcher does and how they're going to attack you?
Right. Yeah. Honestly, with me, I've never been a huge guy. I've always been tall, but real skinny. So my approach has always been find a gap, time the pitcher up on deck, go with every pitch, just try to get a hit, try to get on base, do some things. But yeah, usually just finding a gap, making sure I have, all the pitchers pitches down, know how hard he's throwing, and yeah, just getting on base. And as I keep growing, hopefully put on some more weight, trying to do, I can start maybe changing that a little bit, swinging a little harder. Cause, I swing, probably about 80%. I don't go 100 because, barrel to ball. So I'm trying to tap into that power, like get up to 100%, 90, keep working my way up, and yeah, to see where that goes.
So when you're in a situation like an All-American game like this, do you start looking at the pitchers now? Like, are you going on this roster and looking at who's in that the 2024 arms and trying to figure out who you may see and what those guys throw?
Right. Yeah, I do that usually about 2 days before. So I can if I find something out the next day, I'll make sure I have time. But I gotta make sure I know what I'm facing because I'm going over some top pitchers. So it's not easy just going into the game, not knowing what you're gonna see. You're gonna see like 95 maybe. So you just gotta, I like to do my research on those players, like see how they are, where they're ranked, top speed, pitches, and everything. So yeah, I definitely do my research.
I know Florida, as I mentioned, is a destination. The Gators are keeping you in state. When you play in the All-American game, it'll be nearly 2 years to the day since you made your announcement. Take me inside what ultimately led you to say, I'm going to be in Gainesville, how that's kind of impacted things for you these last couple of years and allowed you to kind of take a step back and just focus on baseball.
Right. Yeah. So growing up, I've always been a good player, real good player. I've always been just hitting the ball. So I always been told I can pretty much choose what school I want to go to, but Florida's always been top of my list. Always, never once has it changed. I've always been because staying close to home. Just Florida's a great school, top school, especially in baseball. So but yeah, and then we weren't gonna commit to my junior year. So around this time, maybe a little bit more into the spring. But just we wanted to Coach Soley said he was like, if you want to come to Florida, why not do it now? If you're gonna do it later. So I was like, yeah, it's a good point. My parents talked about it and we were just like, yeah, let's do it. So been all in ever since that.
Who inspires you on the field? I mean, you can be a coach, player, guys you watch on TV. Like, who kind of is that the people that you're around or watch that really get you up and amped and off the couch and be like, man, I got to go put some work in?
Right. Honestly, it's the guys that are ahead of me, because we all have one dream, one goal to be the number one pick, first round, top 5 picks. So it's always those guys. And then people like Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, the greats, Acuna, they're all that's where I want to be later down the road. So you just got to really grind and, really, it really just pushes you to go to your limits, got to push through what you're capable of. And yeah, just to like, but back to the guys in front of you, just wanting to be that number one guy is all it is. Just, you know, you're behind, so you just got to work your way up and just try to catch up to them.
So that's all part of the journey. So I got to ask about the YouTube channel, the behind the scenes, you know, life with you, your brothers. Tell me about chronicling your baseball journey. You've got videos of a T-ball home run all the way to you know, going to your place for A3 Academy. What's that kind of been like for you to have this chronicled in video form?
Yeah, my dad's always wanted to like get my life out there. So like he just started like real young. He started the Instagram at like, I'd say 9. He posted some videos from like 6U, 7U on there. But yeah, he's like one of the reasons I'm where I am today, or he's a huge reason. But as of like popularity and everything, you know, guys go just knowing who you are, mostly because my Instagram, my dad's done, and the YouTube. Yeah, he just started. He's been doing it for a while, but he just changed it because my brother, he wants to be like out there too on videos and everything so people can watch him. So he started doing that, and my brothers really enjoy it. So yeah, he's just continuing with that, and just he likes what he's doing. So I like it.
All right, well, we're going to expect another episode for sure as you take part in the first ever PBR All-American game as part of the 2025 team. Jacob, thanks, man. We'll see you in Milwaukee.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me.